All right, so the final valuation metric that I feature on my website, and that is something that I look at, only pertains to projects that are considered platforms as well. And the best, most classic example of this is Ethereum, because unlike Bitcoin, that is only designed to be a blockchain ledger that records transactions of the currency of Bitcoin, Ethereum came along and innovated into a blockchain that can also log transactions of code, which allowed for way more use cases and applications than Bitcoin with just a simple currency. Like, Ethereum still tracks its native Ether, as well as a lot of the other tokens that are built on it as far as the blockchain ledger goes. However, you can also put smart contracts on the blockchain, which, instead of just being a brand new version of a financial system, this has the potential to be a brand new version of a legal system, because you have smart contracts. Contracts, law, obviously they go hand in hand. And when you can upload them onto an immutable ledger, and you can upload code to applications on an immutable ledger, there's just so many more possibilities out there, and it starts to act as a platform. Think of it almost like a trunk of a tree that other branches can come off of and be their own projects. Like, if you look up how many ERC20 tokens there are out there, Ethereum-based projects and tokens there are out there that are dependent on the trunk of the Ethereum tree, there's well over 1,000 now. And it only ever keeps growing because Ethereum does a fantastic job of innovating. That being said, there are other, I think at least over 50 other projects out there that are also platforms that are designed to be built on top of, like Ethereum is supposed to be built on top of. So one of the things that I think can determine value amongst this asset class, if you will, amongst this type of blockchain, if you will, is how many dependencies are being built on it. Because let's face it, if you have a project that has tons of other tokens and decentralized applications and use cases built on top of it and dependent on it, then it's going to be a lot less likely to fail because there's so many other projects that are dependent on its success. It has that much more incentive to thrive. And in this open source environment, there's that many more developers and people that are going to want to help pitch in to help it thrive and participate in this original trunk of the tree's ability to thrive. So that being said, I think it's a great way to look at value. And so one of the things that I used to do when I would pull the other quarterly data for the top 25 is I would go into the ones that are all considered platforms that have tokens built on top of them, and I'd see how many tokens were built on each respective platform. And quarter after quarter after quarter, there was no question that Ethereum was always in the lead by over 1,000 different tokens, in excess of what some of these other platforms had. And so I think that really goes to show where you as a potential investor, or you as anybody doing research and due diligence, really needs to be able to sift through what headline hype is with a lot of these new emerging hot projects, and be able to distill down where the actual value and integrity lie. Like, okay, if it's such a hot new project, what else is being built on top of it? Like, show me some more numbers, show me some more facts, show me some more data, not just this headline that's trying to potentially pump a project that may not deserve it in the long run. So yeah, that is the conclusion of the valuation metrics. I hope not only this video, but some of the other ones and other data pulls and examples can help you in your process. But like I've said before, it's always done at your own risk. But again, I just hope this extra information is helpful. So once upon a time, when the crypto markets were still relatively new, I felt like Alice in Wonderland. I was traditionally had a finance background, but this was all very new and exciting. And it was a market that didn't have understood valuation metrics. Like in traditional finance, you have all kinds of ratios to help you evaluate whether or not a certain stock is worth its value. But in cryptocurrency, especially in the early days, that didn't exist. So I went in and tried to make some sense out of Wonderland, so to speak. So for the past few years, majority of the quarters over the past few years, I have pulled the top 25 market cap data from coinmarketcap.com and evaluated each one, stacking it against my theories of how to determine value for these coins and for these projects. And it really has been helpful over time. I've gotten to realize a lot of projects that really deserve more consideration for investment, as well as others that quickly rose to the top 25 via that good old hype train, but likely didn't have the intrinsic value and integrity that it took to stay there. But now that my evaluation metrics, as well as the crypto markets in general, are a lot more established, I no longer plan on pulling all top 25 and running the numbers every single quarter. Instead, I'm going to continue to use these metrics that have worked well for me over time, but I'm going to do it on more of an as-wanted basis when deciding between potentially good and bad investments that I've been curious about. So if you are watching this video from my website, then feel free to scroll down in each respective section and you'll get to see examples of past data pulls that I've done and the merits behind them and how it has helped determine value over time. If you're not watching this video from my website, then there will be a goodie bag full of links in the description section so you can be directed to these respective places to check out past data pulls. And yeah, feel free to use these methods and hopefully they can help your due diligence process. But please keep in mind that they are some of many, emphasis on the word many, ways to conduct due diligence and to do your research on investments that you might not only want to put money into, but maybe time. In the case of being an open source developer, that's your time and your development effort is a very precious resource too. So I would say spend it wisely, do it on projects that are really going to be worth it over time. And at the end of the day, like with everything, it's all done at your own risk, but I still hope that these are as helpful for you as they have been for me in terms of shedding light on evaluating these projects. And I wish you the best of luck on your crypto endeavors. And P.S. that this Alice clip is going to be placed at the end of each how to evaluate crypto video in order to give it a little more context. So in the future, if you've hit this point in the video and you're late for a very important date, then feel free to skip it because you won't have missed anything new. Bye.